All right. No, these are 4 brand new mindset techniques that you can use to bring your services to the world. So when you're up leveling, when you're stepping into a bigger version of offering your services to the world, number 1, what you're going to want to do is plan. I know I've said it before, but one of the things that happened for me is in the face of wanting to sell thousands of books, we had never sold more than hundreds of copies of anything before as a company. In the face of having a goal to sell thousands of books, I had to come up with a new plan. We had never sold more than hundreds of units of anything in 5 years of being in business, and so I needed a new plan. What is the plan that allows you to sell thousands of units? And so I had to go to events just like this one, and it was about a year ago that I was at a 3-day event, and there were many people in the room that had launched books. And so I became their best friend and was buying them lunch and following them around the entire time and asking all of them how they launched their books successfully and talking to them about the different options. There's a lot of different ways to launch a book. You can do a free book plus shipping campaign. You can do a bunch of bonus stacks like you saw me do, buy the book and get all these bonuses. There's all different kinds of ways. I had no idea if the plan was going to work. And even though my team and I then were able to choose a plan, in the face of that plan, I was confused and I had resistance. And I really doubted that it was going to work sometimes, because we had never done it before. Raise your hand if you've ever felt that way about your plan, right? We had never done it before. You've never done it before. So we pick a plan. We're going to do this big bonus stack. It was at that event that I found out about this thing called New York Times. Not only do you have to write a book, get a book deal, get a publisher, then you're supposed to go and get on the New York Times bestseller list, right? Hella intimidating. Most first-time authors don't make it on the list. To get on the New York Times bestseller list, you have to sell between 8,000 to 20,000 books. You can also become a #1 Amazon bestseller. To do that, you've got to sell thousands of books. It's very ambiguous how many. So I'm hearing about all of these goals. And of course, being Sage Levine, in the face of hearing about all of these options, I say, I want to hit New York Times. Why not? Most first-time authors don't hit it, but why wouldn't I just go for it, right? So this little niggling thing gets in my mind. I'm gonna fail if I don't hit that fucking list. So as my team and I starts putting these plans in place to launch the book, it's in my psyche that I have to hit this one bar that's really, really high in order for the book to be a, quote, success. I found myself over the course of the days and weeks that followed becoming less and less excited about my book launch. I found myself starting to contract and feel small and intimidated and almost angry at the goal itself. Raise your hand if you can feel this way. Let's show the viewers how many people in the room have felt that way. Have you guys felt that way? I've certainly felt that way. So when I caught myself practically falling apart on my run along the ocean one Monday morning in relation to this goal, I scooped myself together and I called some of my colleagues and I said, I think I need to take this thing off the table. It's ruining my book launch. Not only am I already feeling like I could fail and not hit this goal, and then I'm going to be like cloaked in shame because everybody's watching me go for this. But there are people all over the world losing their homes in hurricanes and fires, and there's very real things happening out there. And I'm sitting here stressing out about something that means nothing. It's a completely ego-based goal. And so I worked up a plan with my own coach to take it off the table and to surrender to the only thing that I know to surrender to when I get all contorted in the face of achievement. And that is to surrender to what I really wanted the book to be, something that makes a difference for people. To surrender to the truth that the real measure of success is, are we making a difference for people? Are we making a difference for ourselves? Are you and I going to sleep at night feeling like we brought something that improved somebody's lives, and that we brought something that improved our own lives? And day by day, I kept surrendering to my mission. I want to change the way business is done on the planet. I want business to be more cooperative. I want business to be more collaborative. I want business to be less dog eat dog. And it started to refuel me, and it started to re-energize me, and I started to find my joy of my book launch again. The only problem was, when I looked at the calendar, I still had over 2 months of hard work ahead of me to sell thousands of books. And those 2 months were overlapping my summer vacations. And so I put the second step into place that we all need to say yes to when we embark upon offering our services to the world. And that is, I started to pace myself. I picked a plan. I decided to trust the plan, even though I was fucking pissed at the plan sometimes. And I started to pace myself. I realized that I had been preparing for years for the launch that I was walking into. With all of the events that I have led, with all of the little mini group programs I've launched, with all of the focus I've learned how to bring to my business, I had been preparing mentally and emotionally and spiritually for giving 2.5 months of my life over this book launch. And I took great care of myself. Tomas came to my house every week and did body work with me. I saw my coach every week, and I put all kinds of self-care in place for myself so that I could stay focused for 2.5 months to get this thing off the ground. Many of my leverage clients have cleared at least 1 month of their calendars to fill group programs. Many of you have cleared off in Entrepreneurial Leadership Academy, have started to clear off several weeks to really go for this thing of building your business. When we pace ourselves and then we can see the light at the end of the tunnel, there's an end date. We know we're not going to be working like this for months on end. We can be stronger. We can be what, please? Stronger. Getting closer to the goal, the numbers started to go up. I had sold 1,000 books, and then I had sold 2,000 books, and then I had sold 3,500 books, and then my colleagues started to come out of the woodwork and say, I'm gonna buy 250 books to pass out to my entire tribe. And I was watching the numbers climb closer to that 8,000 mark, and I had hired someone, a specific consultant who helps authors get on the New York Times, and I had spent an extra $20,000 to $30,000 on this consultant. And let's just be honest, as the thousands of book sales were rolling in, I hadn't taken New York Times off the table completely. It had this little way of sneaking back onto the table like a green flashing light saying, run toward me, it's still possible. We were very close to that 8,000 book sale mark. 2 days before pub date. And I'm supposed to be celebrating. We're getting ready for our big book party in San Francisco. Some of you were there. Some of you were there. Some of you were on the live stream. I got a call from the New York Times consultant. The algorithm has changed. The New York Times doesn't like anybody plotting to get on the list. So, the contract was canceled. I had to completely let go 48 hours before my book came out of my dream of becoming a New York Times bestseller. I was disappointed, to say the least. I called some of my friends who knew how much this meant to me, some colleagues, and cried on their shoulders. I felt devastated. And my company did what probably will end up being its biggest pivot in the history of Women Rocking Business. We were exhausted. My team and I had been working long days to sell thousands of books, which by any measure is a tremendous success. I had actually gone so far in the face of some of the disappointments of launching the book. I had gone so far as to get into massive pursuit mode. In fact, one of the things that happened was that my major affiliate partner, who had been planning on promoting the book for a year, pulled out on me at the last minute. And in the face of that, pursue. Step 3, pursue.
What was 2?
2 was pace yourself. Pace yourself. Number 1, plan. Number 2, pace yourself. Number 3, pursue. In the face of my biggest affiliate partner pulling out on me, I am not gonna shrink. What's the phrase, please?
I'm not gonna shrink.
I got on the phone and I called my mentor. And I told my mentor what happened. My mentor, right now, is a very successful man who intimidates me. His name's Jeff Walker. He's big. I talked to him about it. And I put an opportunity on the table for him to support me. I thought, what am I, crazy? This is nuts. I said, what would it be like to get a book into the hand of every woman who walks into your internet marketing conference in October? He texted me the next day to say he'd like to buy 500 books from me to get a book into the hands of every woman coming to his conference in 2 weeks. I never would have pursued my mentor in that way had I not lost my primary affiliate partner. Guess what? My primary affiliate partner jumped back in. That's how we got to 8,000. So in the face of the disappointment of New York Times, a growing recommitment happened in me, and an awareness that because I had been going for this crazy goal, I had sold thousands of books. In the face of exhaustion, my team being burned out, me not wanting them to get sick, and in the face of me feeling like I had already tapped all my resources, literally, calling people on the phone, asking for favors, selling thousands of books, I now had a decision to make. Was I gonna let myself have no credibility because of this book not hitting the New York Times list? Or was I gonna find some little iota of energy to fight? I called Marcy Shimoff. What do? I had already called her 5 times. She's a busy woman. I called her again. She's like, I know what we need to do. We can take a bunch, hundreds of your orders and push them through Amazon in a day, and we'll get you number 1 in your category. A glimmer of hope. I was terrified to let my team know about this plan. They had been sleeping 5 hours a night for a week and a half or 2 weeks. I called Jen Sebastian with a shaky voice. Jen, there is possibly a way. She says, I know, I've done it, and I've been thinking the same thing. She says, I have completely got your back. She hired her teenage kids and their friends. My Santa Cruz friends and Megan Neely were over at my office in downtown Santa Cruz at 10 o'clock at night, 24 hours after my San Francisco book launch party. Robin wanders in. And we are exhausted. I had just thrown a big event in San Francisco the night before. The finish line was 500 yards behind me. And we pulled together and we pushed orders through, and Women Rocking Business became number 1 on Amazon that night. And it's not about Women Rocking Business being number 1, but it was about being willing to, 1, pivot. You will find yourself at a point in your offerings and in growing your business where you feel like there's nothing left. Some of you in this room have ended up with 7 people in your program, 8 people in your program, and you told me you wanted 10. And I've been the one to say, keep going. Keep enrolling. Let's go for 10. Run through the finish line. What's the phrase, please?
Run through.
And it's not really about #1 best-selling author, but you know what? Is it actually going to help me to have that? Is it going to help me make a bigger impact?
Yeah.
Are people going to take me more seriously? Are people going to take the book more seriously?
Yep.
It's a game. I was up at 10 o'clock at night with all of my staff knowing that they were exhausted, inside my own nervous system being with the fact that this was a big, fat game. You want to know why people win awards? They play the what?
Game.
You want to know why people get elected? They play the what?
The game.
How many of you resist the game? How many of you guys resist the game, right? The problem with resisting the game is you're going to change a lot less lives. I resisted the game too. And this whole New York Times debacle, it was the best thing that ever could have happened to me to #1, get me realigned with what really matters. Who cares? New York Times, #1 on Amazon, most people don't even know the difference, right? #2, it matters that we're changing lives. #3, the game does matter. And you're gonna need support to play the game because we're up against all kinds of inner resistance. And we can go a hell of a lot further when we play together. Megan Neely said to me that night, she's like, I'm exhausted and this is a blast. Right? Shannon was sitting there with her eyes lit up. Marcy Shimoff is calling me on speakerphone from having dinner with her girlfriends at 9:30 at night. All right, how are you doing? How's your team doing? She's like at dinner over glasses of wine. I watched people open up their lives in generosity and support each other. And many of us forget to do that. Many of us forget to do that when we're offering our services or when we're watching our sisters offer their services. We forget to just open ourselves up in generosity and just completely be behind each other. What's the phrase, please?
Behind.
So you gotta have a plan. You just got to. And even though it's going to feel all kinds of uncomfortable, north, south, left, right, you got to trust it. #2, you have got to pace yourselves. And you have to know, I want to invite you to remember that the work that you're doing right now to grow your business, it's actually preparing you for the bigger goals, whether you know it or not. #3, you got to be willing to pursue. I never would have made that scary phone call in the face of the disappointment that I had just experienced. There are people in your lives that can help you in a big way, and some of you shrink against asking them. #4, pivot. When you find that what you're doing is banging your head against the wall or it's not going to work, or all of a sudden a door comes flying shut, or you're not quite to your goal yet, but you realize you could get there, be willing to pivot. Get yourself more support. Ask for more help than you think that you need. And be willing to get on the Facebook page and ask your mentor and change the plan if you need to. And then every one of us together can become #1 best-selling entrepreneur of the year. Give someone a high five, say #1 best-selling author, entrepreneur of the year.
#1, guys.
All right, you guys, wave goodbye to everyone. Bye. So.